I usually save that one for a bit later on.
Loving, supportive, faith centered, almost like having several sets of parents looking out for us. And I realized at some point that calling it a community kind of makes us sound like a cult, but it took me a long time to figure that out.
I would always describe our community to people, especially back in high school, as I'd say it's not like anything that you've experienced before. You know, it's kind of I say, you know that guy David Koresh? No, I'm just kidding. I didn't say that, but it it was definitely different. You know, I described to people, you know, I was kind of raised by four families, and we kind of have an open door policy, just kind of walk into one another's house, and um, you know, people definitely thought it was strange. It was a little bit different growing up in the community.
When describing my community or the community to other people, I say that my family, my extended family, was on the East Coast, and so my parents developed a community on the West Coast, and we did holidays together, and we went on vacation once a year together, and many of us lived in a similar area and shared a yard. And most people respond to that I grew up in a cult minus the matching jumpsuits and sneakers.
Never had a TV. My parents never missed a soccer game, a wrestling match, a basketball game, a track event, a cross-country race, or a baseball game that I know of. My mom invented summer homework for my sister and I, and the rain in Oregon only meant I had to wear more outfits, and I've never felt more loved, inspired, and lucky to have my mom and dad be my number one fans. Oh, and sometimes, just for kicks, I might throw in that I kind of grew up in a Rajneeshpuram-like neighborhood.
That's a tricky one. It sounds an awful lot like a hippie compound when you're not in Oregon. Maybe even when you are in Oregon. When we were living in Eugene, that's certainly what it came across as.